Mr. Bowtie's Texas High School Sports Machine is driven by Henry Finley and McCombs Ford West, a proud supporter of all area local sports. McCombs Ford West, simply the best.
Hey folks, Mr. Bowtie here. Keep banging home that subscribe button on your screen so that way you can stay up to date on all the great local sports coverage not found on TV or in a cheap web stream. And don't forget to hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Bowtie 1982. It's fast, it's free, and you're going to make my dogs think I'm the best person in the world. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Marcus Davenport, the Stevens alum, UTSA alum with the New Orleans Saints, is joining us as the NFL season just a few weeks away. And Marcus, first off, appreciate you joining us. And it kind of seems like with this longer season, you guys never really get any time off. One season ends, and then it's time to get the next one going.
Oh, yeah, no, like you said, no real time off, but that's the job at this point. It's one of those things you can put your life into, especially for these years. We all know NFL is not for long, but that's one of the blessings. You can't go strong forever, so some of us are blessed to be able to go as long as we can.
Well, you say not for long, but you've been in for a long time. You're already well past the career average for a player. And I got to ask you, every time you see the draft, which happened back in April, you always sit down and look at it and remind yourself of what that was like when you got drafted, and always keep an eye on who the Saints pick and maybe who the rest of the division picks, since you'll have to go up against those guys?
Sometimes, it's almost like my birthday, but every year I try not to watch it. This year I went and decided me and my son were going to get haircuts. And so I'm like, I'm not going to watch it. But then lo and behold, it's on TV and I'm just sitting there watching like, so of course you get to see everybody. And I'd say my biggest thing about all that is, especially with the draft and, undrafted free agents and just everybody in that whole process, I more or less, I don't feel bad, but it's interesting the world that a lot of people are coming into, especially this NFL world that not many people can see. And so from there, I just kind of wish them all the best, send out my little prayers, hope for the best.
Yeah, it was the seventh time in the Saints' history that they've had two draft picks. They had Chris Olave. He played with Garrett Wilson at Ohio State. Wilson, an Austin native who's drafted by the Jets. Trevor Penning, Lante Taylor, DeMarco Jackson, and Jordan Jackson among the draft picks. What is it like for you now, being a veteran, welcoming in these rookies and kind of getting them adjusted to the NFL, maybe in some cases getting them adjusted to the Crescent City of New Orleans?
It's pretty nice. I can say I was lucky, especially when I came in, to have great veterans, come in and talk to me and help me out in any way that I could, that they could. And so, that's kind of what, I strive to be, only to make things easier, especially if somebody needs help. I think there's a lot of points in our lives and many people's lives where, we don't necessarily have any kind of guidance. Nobody's really been there or done it. So, just like with anything, it's always been pretty great to be able to give back.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting how the 2021 NFL season, a lot of people thought the Saints maybe would step back a little bit with Drew Brees going into television, but you all finished, I think, 9-8, and San Francisco made a heck of a comeback at the end of their finale against LA to get the last spot, and then they almost ended up in the Super Bowl. I know there's disappointment out of just missing the playoffs, especially with the expanded playoffs, but it was still a heck of a season where I know you all had to overcome a lot. Just a couple thoughts kind of putting the 21 season to bed.
Just putting it to bed, we fought, like you said, we had some losses, but, it was nothing that we should ever hold our heads down for. It just gets us more excited for this year, especially being so close. We know that we were hurt and banged up, and it was kind of one of those rotating years with the hurricane displacing us, a lot of different injuries throughout the season. For the most part, we didn't have our whole team together for the whole season, but it's just one of those things. We're able to rebuild, reload, and we're definitely ready for this season, as far as I can tell.
What is this this little bandage I saw on your hand? What all was that? A little bit of
just a little splint. It's just supposed to keep some swelling down.
was that from the season?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be go ahead, Marcus.
Oh no, it's okay. You continue.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season in the NFC South with so many questions, so many changes. We'll start right away with the Saints and with Sean Payton, who really has been the franchise along with Drew Brees. Both are now in television. A new head coach, Dennis Allen. Allen's been a head coach before, now gets another chance to be a head coach in the league. What's the biggest thing going from Sean Payton, who built up the Saints from nothing, to now having a new coach, and the Saints hadn't had a coaching change in 15 years?
I don't know. I guess the biggest point is we'll see. We've been blessed with having Coach Payton, and we're blessed again to have DA. We'll see on the different changes and all that, but I guess that's something that we're all going to learn and see together. Like you said, this is a new frontier for us. Past 15 years we've had Coach Payton, but shoot, I can say this is our best move, and so from there, now it's just up to us as players, coaches, the organization, to make everything right. I fully believe this is a Super Bowl year, but with my heart, I've said that every year. But it's only so true as long as we make it true. So
yeah, and the NFC South is going to have so many changes. Matt Ryan left Atlanta, so they'll have a new quarterback. I think he's in Indianapolis. Tom Brady, the 90-year-old who's got the $375 million contract with Fox, once he's finally done playing. The coaching change in Tampa Bay as well. Carolina trying to figure out their quarterback situation and if Matt Rule's going to hang around. What's it like going into the 2022 season where you don't really have a clear-cut favorite outside of maybe Brady just based on name, but how this division could go really almost any way?
You're right. There's so much up there in the air that, just based off of name, you could give it to Tampa, but, just based off of anything, hey, look, you can give it to us. We're the favorite. I think every player should say that, especially about their team, regardless. But, the Matt Ryan, that's crazy because, never would I have thought, so much that he's done for them. But then again, I never know. As a player, as anybody, you never officially know what's going to happen, and just seeing how things change. That's one of the youngest teams in the league right now, from what I can see. And as far as Tampa, Tom Brady, hey, I'm still a fan. I just feel bad because how would I say? Well, I feel bad for all our opponents because I say we're going to win it all, but that's just me.
I thought you're going to say you feel bad because he when he goes to Fox and has a $375 million deal, he's going to make more money at Fox than he did in 20 years of playing in the NFL.
Hey, no, you can't feel bad for that. That's when you're just like, oh, okay, that's the goal. That's a new goal.
Well, it's going to be a great schedule. You guys are going to play the NFC South to start and obviously at the end. But one of the big highlights is going to be early on, the game in London against Minnesota. Kellen Mond on the Vikings roster, San Antonio Reagan guy. Don't know if you ever got a chance to play with him, but what's it going to be like going into London, getting on a plane, playing in another country, playing what would be a morning game in New Orleans, and it maybe getting out to seeing a whole different culture up there in London when you all play them?
That's going to be amazing. Especially I think we're going to have some time to, experience, like you said, the culture down there, and hopefully everything's smooth. That's just, I've heard about, different teams going different places, and it's not been as smooth as, people prefer. But, I know we've already got our system and our plans, and I'm excited. Me personally, I want to be able to get out and, this will be my first trip to, besides Dominican Republic, this will be my first trip outside the country. So.
Yeah, it's got to be kind of fun. What have other players told you about playing a game that's that's in London, since everybody has now played at least one game overseas with the Packers getting ready to play their first one. What have either the veterans on your team or even friends in the league told you about adjusting to that time difference, going all the way out to London?
They say sleep. And based on how early you get there, it shouldn't really affect you. Like, especially if you get there about a week early, you get to practice through the week and, kind of set your own personal time to it. It shouldn't be that bad. But, that there's one thing to say and one thing to do it. So we just got to see.
Well, we obviously cannot forget about you and all your ties to San Antonio. UTSA having their best season ever with Jeff Traylor. Stevens football not quite as strong. We know they'll bounce back. Their baseball team doing outstanding. When you're seeing what Stevens and can't forget about the Stevens volleyball team making the playoffs for the first time ever in the school's 15-year history. When you see how Stevens baseball is having a historic season, how UTSA football had their best season ever, how some of those UTSA guys are going to get a chance in the league like McCormick and Woden and Leroy Watson, there's got to be that sense of pride being with how those teams are doing and how they're representing San Antonio.
Oh yeah, no, tremendous amount of pride. Just looking back, I think that's what keeps me so focused and, especially what I want to be able to do. I know there's so much that I still want to be. And a lot of that is especially looking back home because I see so many people out there striving, creating greatness on their own. And it just makes me want to be able to, whenever the chance I get, just to be able to make you guys proud, make the city proud. So I'm blessed to be able to see you guys or see the city, San Antonio, Stevens, UTSA come so far and all that they've done.
As I mentioned, Stevens football had a tough season last year, had some injuries, but I know Anthony Boykin and the players are looking to bounce back. I know when you played for Darryl Hemphill, there were some tough seasons as well. What advice do you give those guys coming off their season and looking to try to bounce back and have a better season? What advice do you give those guys?
Let's see. One season I went 1-9. And from there, I always felt like, there's always up. The advice I would say is at this point, especially for those seniors and, everybody going into the next year, you're getting closer to leaving school. And these are memories that you'll have forever. And it'd just be, when you get the chance, whether it's school work, after school work with your friends or practice or anything like that, I would just say enjoy it. It's fleeting moments, things that won't be able to come back. And these are memories you'll have for the rest of your life. Losing is okay. At a certain point, it's okay. It's not, you never go in there with that intent, but, it's okay to lose, especially if you've given your best. Like if you've done everything, in your heart, then that's okay. And only then that's okay. And from there, have no fear, never think of losing. Shoot. Every time we've like, and I can't say, shoot, even after that 1-9, I was still a little cocky, but it's something that you gotta believe in, believe in yourself, believe in your friends.
We mentioned previously about your former head coach, Darryl Hemphill, retiring after so many years coaching in Northside and then being in administration. I heard some of your thoughts about it, but it's still got to be tough about having him retire. But I know he's meant so much to me and his battle with prostate cancer. I know he's meant so much to you and your career, both at Stevens and post Stevens.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing from just going on my 5th year. When I think of retirement, sadly, I get excited. For the simple fact that I think that, especially like my dad, when he retires, that's a joyous day, because I believe there's always going to be a time for change, and that's just another change in his life. And so, I'm excited for him to, be able to take some time away from that and, get on to wherever he wants. Because I know he's been able to put in work and he's changed so many kids' lives that, he might need to take some more time for himself.
Yeah, I can tell you still love them, and you still love Stevens based on the fact your walls are all painted in that Stevens red.
Yes, sir. Yeah, always close to heart and one of the best colors.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll get you out of here on this one. Just want to, for those maybe who have not been able to keep up with you, just how have you been? How are things going with you? Because I know we see you on the field wearing 92, chasing those quarterbacks and those running backs down and putting a hurting on them. But how have you been outside of football? Give us an update.
I'm good. Very blessed, growing a lot. I have a fiance, so I recently got engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My family's growing. I've been blessed. Really, I've been trying to stay off of social media just for the simple fact that I just want to be a more present person. I even try to stay off my phone because, there are some times when it takes away from me actually being here. I've been reading more, doing more, trying to travel, meet people. I'm starting back up on Spanish. Just, little things to try to not necessarily better myself, but just expand myself. That's more of what I've been trying to, look into.
Marcus Davenport, he's always been a winner wherever he's been at, whether it's been on the field, off the field, or wherever. And Marcus, look forward to seeing you start up in August with preseason and then another 18-game season in the NFL. And it'll be fun to see the Saints and how this new look NFC South looks. And Marcus, we are so glad and so blessed to have you on, and wish you the best of luck. And hopefully we'll run into each other again during the summer before everything starts up.
Thank you.